Welcome to Coach's Corner Podcast. We're excited to dive into our first conversation with our very own Exos fitness coaches. As we mentioned last month, Season 3 will be focused on the people behind Well at Humana. First up is a crowd favorite, Xavier Payne. Welcome, Xavier.
Hello, hello.
Just so you guys can learn a little bit about Xavier as he talks you through his journey so you understand his background, I'll give you a little bit of information before we turn it over to Amy for her questions of the day. So Xavier's a fitness coach at Well at Humana. He trains clients one-on-one, performs health assessments, instructs group exercise classes. Like I mentioned, he's a crowd favorite in all of our outdoor event boot camps. He's a certified personal trainer through the International Sports Science Association. He's a certified CrossFit Level 1 coach. He's been on our Exos team for 2 years now, and truly, I promise you this place would not be the same without him. So, again, welcome to the show, Xavier. Happy to have you today.
Happy to be here.
All right, Amy.
It's time.
It's time. It is that time. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to ask you these rapid-fire questions. You're just going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. No hesitations, just boom, boom, boom. Okay, so here we go. What was your first job?
Qdoba, line worker.
Describe your style in one word.
Fitness.
What has been your favorite age so far?
30.
What is your favorite exercise?
Thrusters.
What do you do to relax?
Go to the park with my dog.
What was the last trip you took?
San Diego.
What's your favorite type of workout?
Ones that make me suffer.
Morning person or night owl?
I am a morning person through and through. At 9:30, I'm in bed.
Favorite outdoor activity?
Ultimate Frisbee.
What is something you're looking forward to the rest of the year?
Summer and it being hot outside.
Nice.
You did
That was
really
quick.
good. That's really
shoot,
good.
Most
Round
people
of
get like
applause.
take a minute there.
You get a star for that.
Thank you, thank you.
Stars are big around here. if y'all
Hey,
didn't
let's
know.
go.
So we're bringing coaches on to talk really about their journey as an individual, but also their wellness journey as a coach too. So we'll have a little bit of both. So just know that as the audience, like we'll be bouncing back and forth between Xavier's personal journey as well as what it's like for him as a coach in the fitness world. So Xavier, can you tell us a little bit about your health journey and how you got into fitness?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in a not so healthy environment, not like mentally unhealthy, but physically. I didn't really eat a vegetable that wasn't in a casserole until I was in college.
Wow, really?
For real. I very rarely had anything other than soda or milk, and I'm lactose intolerant.
So that wasn't good.
No. Like the only water I was drinking was after PE class in high school when I'd go
Out of the fountain.
Out of the fountain, bet. I would go to sporting events with like the Gatorade bottles full of Big Red.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that took some effort.
Oh, yeah. I literally had to pour Big Red in one of those instead of just filling it up. But
Okay.
like
Carbonated too, though. Isn't
Yeah.
it? That's gonna give you some.
Yeah. So did not grow up super healthy. When I was in college, about 2017, I ended up getting injured through a low ankle sprain, gained some weight, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to kind of change my eating habits. I'm going to change my health journey. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the same thing everybody else does. I'm going to start running. I'm going to eat less calories and start running.
It's usually like where people feel the most confident to say like, I'm just going to get up and move. And that to them equates to running.
Yep. And so I did it pretty unhealthily. I was up to 190.
Is that big for you, just to give the audience like reference?
Yeah, so I sit around 175 right now.
Okay.
I was at like 165 in about 12 weeks where I couldn't do anything when I got injured. I went up to 195.
Okay, like pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly, 12
Okay.
weeks. And then
wow.
about another 6 weeks, I went down to 150. So I ate 1,200 calories a day, ran 3 miles once or twice a day, and felt miserable.
By the way, I would not recommend that.
No, not at all.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
I
And
eat
so
1,200 calories for breakfast.
yeah, for sure. And so I had to find a like better, healthier, sustainable way. I went to like essentially what would be a crash diet, and I was like, I don't love this. I need to find a way to like continue to have energy throughout the day, but not just be miserable, but also I'm still trying to like be healthy. And I didn't really know what to do, so I just constantly did research and kind of finding out. Then as I kind of figured out my way and like what I should be eating and kind of how to best structure my workouts and my like lifestyle, I was on a good path. And then 2020 happened, where everybody's life kind of changed.
Yeah.
Somewhat lucky for me is I'd started to build a garage gym. And so when my buddies, all of their gyms closed, we all just kind of came together and started working out 4 or 5 days a week. This is where I kind of got into actual training people because I could make mistakes. I would program our workouts. Some of them would be baller and the other ones would be crash and burn. And we were all like, that was not good. But it gave me a lot of
safe space.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of hands-on experience to make mistakes and to actually coach people and kind of learn how to do that. And like there is obviously the science aspect and the like book knowledge of that stuff,
Sure.
but there's a lot to do with just practicality of like what works and what doesn't. After that, I have continued on my journey of getting certifications, getting more knowledge, and then just decided in 2021 to make fitness my full-time job. Started working at a YMCA as a healthy living director, and then I found Exos and not looking back.
Yeah, that's an awesome story because so much of it is like you really were self-taught in a lot of ways with your own journey. It was like something that you saw a change. I would ask the question of like, do you have that in you? Is that something that's natural for you to jump into something? Or did that take some work through like, okay, this is not where I need to be. Let me figure out what I need to. Or are you a naturally like, let's jump in and go? What's your personality like?
So I think a little bit of both. I think that at the time before I got injured, I was like, oh, I'm good enough. And I think that I was healthy enough and I didn't see a problem. And I really wasn't, but I didn't understand that there was somewhere else I could go. Then I found out there was a problem, and then I do have a pretty addictive personality. And so once I was in, I'm really in. I've talked about this a bunch with people, is I believe you can be the best at one thing, you can be great at about 3 things, and you can be good at a lot of things. And I don't like to be good at anything. I want to be the best at something, or I want to be great at things. So with that, I really go all into the things that I care about.
And I think sometimes that's what it takes initially too. And then like and that kind of leads me into my next question would be like, what keeps you coming back? Because I think it's people realize that they need a change in life, and oftentimes it is physical fitness or physical health. Let's just put it that way. They need to improve on their physical health, which also leads to mental health and like, but it starts out as a really strong goal and they have a lot of motivation, but when the motivation fails, which it will at some point, the consistency is no longer there and they don't come back to fitness anymore. So what keeps you coming back year after year?
So I think a big one for me is the discipline aspect of there are absolutely days that I'm just like, I really don't want to work out today. Like I said, I used to work out with a bunch of different people, and so I still work out with friends on the regular. Almost every single one of my workouts is with another person, and when they, for whatever reason, sometimes it happens that they need to cancel, I'm just like, I really don't want to do this today. But I've told myself I am the type of person who works out on Tuesdays after work. I'm the type of person who works out on Fridays in the morning before I go to work. And so that just like discipline of that is what I do. And I do enjoy working out. I know a lot of people love the after fact of what they feel like after. I love the in the moment suffering, like this is really hard and I get to push myself to achieve in this moment right now.
A lot of people don't have that. I'm the same way. I'm similar to you, and like I have an addictive personality, but I run into a lot of friends that are like, I don't enjoy this, like, but they enjoy it afterwards. And like, I think what you said around, this is something that I do. It's not something like I'm going to keep on my plate to like, maybe it gets pushed to the side. It's like what I deem that as like a non-negotiable. This is a non-negotiable. And I think I told you all the story. Like, I've straight up walked in a place, done a bicep curl, and left. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've done it. And some days you don't have it. But if you make it something that's, like, more consistent and a non-negotiable, I feel like you can stick to it. Mm-hmm. Amy, like, how do you feel about this? Like, with working out, consistency?
I do struggle with consistency, but I've never fully fall off. Like, there's days when the motivation's low, and sometimes I can push through it, and sometimes I just give myself that rest day. Like, if I'm just really beat down, but I never fully fall off. Like, I never go like a full week without completely moving. But I mean, a part of that is I do love to do it too. Like, I do love to move my body. I know I feel better. I know it makes me mentally feel better and better to the people around me. So that's what keeps me motivated. What I also really like about your story too is, like, you know, you weren't necessarily raised in this super healthy family. It's something that you found on your own and something that you found to be important. And I love that because, like, family is so influential, and just the way that you were able to find that for yourself is really cool.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the big things that I truly believe makes me a good coach, is the fact that I can empathize with these people. It's not just sympathizing.
Yeah.
It is I can empathize with them, that I have been here. I've been in the trenches with you. And, like, why I love what I do so much is to help get you to where you want to go in a faster, better way than going the unhealthy route that I took. Mm-hmm. I think that was something I would never recommend to people. Like, losing 50 pounds or 40 pounds and gaining 30 pounds in a 3-month window is so unhealthy for you. But I did it, so I'm hoping to help other people not do that.
Oh, I love that.
Throughout your wellness journey, were there any like obstacles that you really hit that were pivotal into, you know, getting to where you are, or any challenges that you might have faced in this? Because it's not a super easy process.
Yeah. Big one for me, I cannot cook at all. I am the world's worst cook.
I've also heard you have a sweet tooth.
And I have a really bad sweet tooth. I love chocolate. If there is chocolate in my house, it is getting consumed. So the big thing with the cooking one, though, is I didn't know how to cook. I don't know what to cook. So I was eating bland chicken and rice for every meal. And I was like, this is trash.
Oh, it's terrible.
I was like,
I'm a saucy person too, so I'm going to need some sauces on that.
I was, there's no sauce. That's extra calories.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. No. I was just bland. And so what I found out is, like, oh, there are meal prep services that can help me find something that is tasty and still healthy. And so that was a way to really balance, like, a big obstacle for me. And then I've done this a couple times, is I have given up sweets for an entire year. I'm more so on a balancing act where, like, now my rule is I don't have sweets unless I'm out with friends.
Oh, that's
so that
cool.
way, because I can't bring them in the house. If I bring them in the house, I'm like, oh, this happened the other day. I will totally admit this. I bought a thing of Reese's, like one of the little packs, and I was like, okay, I'll just have like one or two. And then about 6 hours later, the entire pack was gone.
Gone. That's how I am with chips. Like, chips, done. I'm done for.
I think I said earlier, like, I know myself, and I know that my willpower ends at the grocery store. So if I buy it and it's in my home, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
I have a problem with free food, too.
I like that. Amy has a really big problem with
really hard time with free food.
If any food is free, Amy's going in on it.
Yeah.
That's true.
But people love Xavier so much. They, like, bring him food constantly at the gym. I think majority of them are healthy meals, though. So
Most of them are healthy meals, but I do say that I'm a garbage disposal for any of your leftovers.
Yeah.
Feel free. Bring them to me.
He does get so many with that. So I'd love the part about just setting your boundaries with yourself, though. I think, like, that's what people could take away from that is, you know you have a sweet tooth. One, that's self-awareness. Two, it's like, okay, I can have these things. I'm not going to eliminate them, but I'm going to put some boundaries around it where I know I'm not going to be, like, detrimental to my progress. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have this with when I go out with friends or have dinner with someone.
Yeah, I found that you find your, like, really vulnerable spots because willpower does have, like, you only have so much of it. And if it's just constantly in front of you, that willpower will give up no matter how
100%.
disciplined you are,
100%.
how like,
You're
I'm
human.
locked in. Yeah. And so I've just found my risk areas and have tried to avoid them as best I can. I've put like blockades in the way of my risk times so that way I can, if I really, really want something, I'll go to the store and get it. That's fine. But like that means I really wanted it. And like, that's okay. Some days are like that.
Yeah.
I also like your other ways of like overcoming the obstacle of like, you're like, I don't know how to cook. I don't like to cook. My food's not good. Like, yeah, you can learn to cook, you can put together recipes, but I like you're just like, I can outsource this. Like, this is something that's important to me, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to put that effort in. I can find other ways to do it. Like, there's more than one way to get over an obstacle.
Yep.
So how did you do that?
How did
you like outsource these meals?
Yeah, so I literally just Googled meal prep services near me, and I went through a couple different ones where I tried, 5 meals from this one, 5 meals from this one. And so the way that I do it is I only do my lunches throughout the week. So that way I can still like eat whatever I want for dinner. I don't believe in just cutting things out totally for like, I did it as like a challenge to myself earlier, but like most of the time, like I still want to have pizza for dinner. Cool, great. But like it's a balance for me is that I eat.
Good old 80-20 rule.
Yeah, so I eat really healthy
It's true.
breakfasts. I eat really healthy lunches. And then my dinners are kind of like, I still pick a healthier option, but it's just a way that way I have my meals, my lunches lined up. So I did meal prep service for a couple years. Then my mammy is wonderful. And one day I was just like, Mammy, do you want to start meal prepping food for me? And she goes, I don't know what that means, but I'm in. And I was like,
Nice.
Great. And so it was a way for her to also like expand what she would make because she was so used to, she ate a deli sandwich for lunch every day. And like she didn't eat a lot of real foods. And so when she's making me steak, chicken, Brussels sprouts, stir fry, like all that kind of stuff, she was starting to eat healthier foods too. And then every Sunday I would go over there, I would pick up my meals, we would play rummy. She never beat me in rummy. Never. I want that to be on
And
record.
she still played. Like, that's boss.
No, yeah. She was just bad at cards. She is not a card shark. I'll tell you that right now. But it was a way for us to kind of spend one-on-one time together. I got meals out of it. And we just got to like hang out. And so it was a really awesome experience for me.
That's really cool. I love that. And you had meals 5 days a week.
5 days a
But
week.
you also took the initiative to like find what is going to work, right? Like, you tried these meal prep services. You just Googled something, hopped in, tried it. That worked, but like something better came out of it.
Yep.
And that's awesome. So we talked about what challenges you face as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some of the challenges you face when coaching or your clients may face?
Oof. So me personally, I would say that there's 2 big challenges that I kind of like internally struggle with. I have a lot of energy a lot of the time.
This is true, folks.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
Can confirm.
I don't think that's a surprise to a lot of people. But there are certain days where I come in and I'm just like, I just don't have it today. But I have always been known to be this guy that has a lot of high energy. And so when I don't, people immediately notice. And then I feel like I'm letting other people down. One of the big things for me that I feel is part of my job is that if you come into the gym, Amy, and you don't have the energy, you don't have the enthusiasm for today, my job is to give you energy so that way you are excited about doing this.
He is a true hype man.
Yeah.
100%.
And so with that, like if I don't have it that day, I really struggle with myself because I'm like, I'm not doing my job if I can't hype you up. And so like I have to fake it till I make it sometimes.
I think people, like a lot of people don't know that about the fitness industry is like, if you're a person that has a typical corporate job and you sit behind a desk all day and you're answering emails and you're not interacting a lot and you come into the gym, this may be a coach's 8th client of the day, and like you give your entire self to people. So eventually like that, it's not even a social battery, but that giving, it gets lower and lower. So that's a real challenge coaches often face is like, because they're giving themselves fully to their clients, and that's taking in energy, that's giving off energy. So it's really a lot. So I just hope people appreciate that hype that you do provide to them. On the flip side of that question, what challenges do you see your clients face most consistently? Like,
yeah, I think the thing I see my clients face more often than not is I'm not seeing immediate progress. And we're in such a world of, you see all these fitness influencers that are jacked. You see Instagram is reels, so you scroll, watch it for 2 seconds, scroll, watch it for 2 seconds, watch it for 2 seconds, right? Like everything is so hit, that like this delayed gratification that we're just not used to is something that it just isn't around a lot anymore.
People don't like that.
Yeah. Like I remember 2020, we're working out all the time. We're working out 5 days a week. And one of my friends just goes, man, you're really strong, but you're just aesthetically not pleasing. Like you don't have abs, like your legs are defined. And I was like, dang, man. And then like, I was just like, well, trust the process. It'll eventually work out. And then like a year later, it was like, oh, my arms are pretty defined now. Like I feel like I look pretty fit now. And he's like, yeah, you look way better than you did a year ago. And I'm like, thanks, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the delayed gratification of like, it will happen. Trust the process of there's nothing that beats working hard. Your abs are made in the kitchen. They're not made in the gym. Like it's one of those things like you just have to trust that doing the hard stuff now will pay off later.
And I think, I just love that statement because it would be my mantra. It would be one of my mantras. It's like, fitness is one of, like, if you experience that for yourself in fitness, I feel like that translates to everything else in your life. Like if you put in the work now, the results may not be immediate, but it will pay off in the future. And like, also, I love that fitness is the only place that like you're required to fail every day. Like you literally push to failure and you are able to safely fail all the time. And actually your failures make you better. And I'm like, a lot of that happens naturally in life too. Like your failures actually end up making you better. But like in fitness, you can see it so clearly. Like you push out repetitions till failure and then you get better and stronger. And like, it's something that I just think fitness can relate to. But I think one of mine in coaching is like prioritizing just movement in general. With our culture and where it's gone. So what I mentioned my mantra. Do you have a quote or mantra that comes up often for you?
Yeah. So I have a tattoo on my arm. It's my very first tattoo that has like a little coffee cup on it. But it's taken from the quote by Bruce Lee where he says, be like water. You put water in a teapot, it becomes the pot. You put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. And so it's just be malleable to your situation. I think I really do try to live just try to like flow with the people around me. I don't need to be too high or too low on whatever group I'm in. I do surround myself with people that are willing to push me and that have the same type of ideals as I do. But just like being ever kind of changeable and never just like, I'm stuck in this mindset, I'm not going to change. I very much try to have a growth mindset of like, not, no, I can't do this, but how can I do this?
How might I?
Yeah.
How might we? It's like, I love that statement because like with where you're at, it's hard for some people to be really fluid. Like I love what you talked about of being like water. I mean, I think it's tough for some people to be that way because they want something that's constant. They want certainty. But I think it's something that has allowed you to succeed with being fluid with where you're at and what you're doing and kind of evolving to what is around you.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
I did like that you mentioned that you like, you know, hang out with people that will push you and stuff. Because I remember this quote, this always sticks in my head. But it's like, if you surround yourself with 4 smokers, you'll be the 5th. If you surround yourself by 4 fit people, you'll be the 5th. And so it's important to have those people. And so like, you don't want to be too fluid in that like people can pull you into, you know, what they're doing. So it is important to surround yourself with those, but also, yes, being fluid in how you get to things and keeping an open mind for other perspectives.
Find positive impacts on your life.
Positive impacts.
Yeah, and I think like if you look at fruit, One piece of fruit goes bad. What happens to every piece of fruit that it's touching? It's bad, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like finding people that are good fruit near you so that way you can continue to push yourself to be most like them. And that way you're not just like complacent with where you are, but you're constantly striving to be the best version of yourself, which is like, this is my whole coaching spiel, right?
Yeah.
To take it back to like nutrition, we've talked some about that earlier. Like, what would be your go-to meal, or like simply what is your favorite types of food?
Are we talking nutrition wise or like?
We can do a little bit of both. We can talk a little bit of both.
All right. So what are my regular meals is I love steak, sweet potatoes, and like Brussels sprouts. That is if I had to eat it every single day
You
for
eat
a
it
meal.
quite consistently.
I do. Yes. You can exchange steak and chicken too.
Okay.
And you can.
How do you eat your steak? Like, how's it cooked?
Medium rare.
Nice.
Yeah. And because I think if you medium rare when you warm it up, it still has a little bit of
Touche.
Yeah. Still good. Now, if we're talking unhealthy versions, which I don't eat very rarely, biscuits and gravy is a top one for me. I love that. Queso, love me some queso.
I love queso.
Ugh.
Same.
And
Who
then
doesn't?
fried chicken. I'm a real soul food kind of guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like cheese, potatoes, and fried chicken.
I'm in.
You are very Southern.
Yeah.
Yes. So we talked about a lot of physical health. We talked nutritional health. Like, what are some of your favorite, quote unquote, like healthy habits that you incorporate in your daily life that's maybe outside of the gym?
Yeah. So two big ones for me, kind of they go together though, is they both revolve around like silence and like just in my own head. So
Most
when
people hate it there.
hate it.
You know?
So in the mornings and when I leave work, I do not talk or listen to anything. I am in silence. I don't turn on the radio. I don't turn on podcasts. The only words that I'm saying before I get to work are to my dog, just to tell her bye and I love her.
I was going to say, please tell me you say I love you to your dog. 100.
All the time.
Love it.
Yeah. But I try to be just in silence and like in my own thoughts and kind of just hanging out there. And then like after work, a big one for me is, so roughly 300 days a year, I take my dog to the park. And
That's amazing.
She
is loved. You
she
say
is
I
loved.
love you, but
yes,
she is loved.
She is very much loved. She's spoiled. But with that, like I try not to talk to people while I'm there. I try not to listen to podcasts. I just walk around and just be. And I think that is something that kind of helps me like decompress from the day. Like when I talk to 6 clients a day about all of their problems, everything they have, and like I love being there for them. Like that is one of the things I'm most passionate about is doing that. But like I do need some decompression time. And so going to the park and just like walking around and being is really helpful to me, whether it's I'm throwing a Frisbee for her or I'm just like, she doesn't want to mess with the Frisbee and we're just literally walking around, just being outside and like not having an actual worry in the world, just being happy.
That's awesome because I want to talk about the challenge that you did for yourself. So please tell us. So you did this, I think, like a year and a half ago.
About that.
It was cold outside.
It's not
I remember
warm.
that. So can you tell us what you decided to do on a whim? This was not like trained for anything, and like the why behind it.
Yeah. So on a Monday, I decided on a Saturday that I was going to do a 12-hour walk. This 12-hour walk is in silence and solitude. You do not talk to anyone. You don't have any headphones. You don't even have, like I had my phone in my backpack as an emergency, but it was turned off.
I think I would be miserable.
Yeah. And so most people would be. And so what this is made to do is to do a couple things. It's to make you okay with being in silence in your own thoughts, but then also like being present in your moment. Too often we are so worried about what's next, what's tomorrow, what's on my schedule, all of that, instead of just like what is right in front of me right now. I heard about it on a different podcast that I was listening to, and it was just like, just go out and do it. At somewhere around the 10-hour mark, 11-hour mark, they say that you have like a breakthrough. So
Did you have a breakthrough?
So I had a breakthrough about an hour in.
Oh, God.
I'd be like, all right, we can wrap this up
we
now.
accomplished
Go home
this
now.
here.
Well, so the breakthrough is that like you are okay with silence and you're okay with what's right in front of you. And about an hour in, I was like, I should stop worrying about like all these thoughts in my head, and I should just worry about the rock that I'm getting ready to step on. I should worry about the branch that I'm stepping over. I should listen to what's going on around me. And like I had that really early, and I think that it's like in just an intense level of focus that most people don't have, because it's like we're really not good at just really narrowly focusing. We're all, quote unquote, good at multitasking.
Yeah, no one's good at multitasking, by the way.
You're not. But I am really bad at it because I'm really good at giving all of my attention to one thing. And I think that is something I learned in this challenge, is that is my superpower, is being intensely focused, which is also why I think it's a good thing that why I am good at sports, is because I am very intensely focused when I'm on the field, when I'm off the field. Like my goals, I'm very driven, but it's because of this.
I think it's like also it depends on personality too. Like you're a very naturally intense person. So like any intently focused thing, whether it's been a lot for you, physical fitness. I think other people have had to thrive in their world, specifically in their job, like not multitasking, but managing multiple things at like a high intensity rate. I think you can be successful in that too, but I think like what you're talking about with, is it safe to say that that's like your soapbox moment? Like people being
absolutely
not
okay in their own heads. People are so afraid of your own thoughts, because what happens? You get sad. What do? Scroll through Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. You're really happy. What do? Post it on Instagram. Okay. Why can't you just be in your head, deal with your own emotions, whatever they be? We look at, monks, and they have no technology, no way to escape. And that's why I think that they can kind of reach this level of blissfulness, is because they have to learn how to deal with emotions, good or bad, inside with only themselves. There's nothing to, oh my gosh, I'm so happy, let me tell you about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sad, let me post about it and see if I can get some condolences and all that stuff. It's like, no, you just got to figure out a way to deal with it on your own.
And our world's like all about distraction, right? So typically like to not feel the emotion that you don't want to feel, it's just a distraction for that. So it's really
how can
cool.
you escape from it? That's what people want to do.
Amy, what's your soapbox moment?
My soapbox moment?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, mine's not even like related.
That's okay. It's your own soapbox moment.
Well, I would have had a mindset soapbox moment. Shoot. Mine, I just feel dumb saying it now. I really like zero drop wide toe box shoes.
I mean, some people are super passionate about that, and Amy happens to be one of them.
I'm all about the toe spread. I like the zero drop, no heel strike.
So I feel like this is like a really popular actually thing in our office. Like there's some team members that are like very passionate about zero drop shoes. They train in them, they wear them to work every day. Then we have others that are very much about the fashion of their shoes.
Yeah, these aren't cute.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Like
we have
I feel like duck feet when I wear them, but
I probably should invest in some, but I can't do it. The fashion is just.
I like my fashion shoes.
And the three guys just wear regular shoes, and then we all wear lifters when we work out.
Yeah,
so.
all of them except Donnie. He wears
goes
zero drop.
Oh, he does.
With the 5-finger socks.
But he does.
Did you all know that? Did you all
I
know
didn't
that?
know he wore the finger. I'm not passionate about that.
I seen it the other day, and I'm like, wow, he has the finger socks.
I don't like
he was
things
changing
between
his
my
shoes.
toes.
Yeah. I can't get
I can
down
barely
with
do
it.
flip flops.
Oh, really?
I also just don't like feet. I don't like exposed.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother soapbox.
I would say my soapbox is like just sleep in general. I think people with like a hustle culture mentality is like, oh, I don't need sleep. Wake up at 3 a.m. And I'm just going to call your bluff and say like, you're not going to perform in the way that you would perform if your mind is totally reset, and that's because of sleep and recovery. So for me, I get very, very passionate talking about sleep. But as we kind of close this out and wrap it up, put a bow on it, as they say in the corporate world, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone like just starting out?
Yeah, I think with pretty much anything, it's just show up and be present. I think the best ability is availability, and it's like whether it's something you want to do this day, whether it's not, like just show up. I think, especially for the gym, 90% of it is just getting there. Like you talked about, going
100%.
in, doing a bicep curl, and then walking out. Well,
Wait.
at least you went there today.
Say that again. I like the best.
The best ability is availability.
I like that.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
you
steal
just
that.
skimmed right over that. I was like, shoot.
Oh, I'm
like
good
that.
at hot like little facts like that. You
Oh,
best
that was
believe.
Good. That was good.
But yeah, I think like just show up, and this is kind of to go off that is you can't out science hard work.
You can't.
No matter what, you can
Love
say this
that.
is the best program, blah 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 blah. No, well, if you just give half your effort to it, it's not going to do anything. If you give 100% effort on the worst workout program in the world, you will be more fit or more healthy than somebody that has the best workout program and they just give half effort.
I love that. I think it's you had some dingers in here. Like we're
I know
gonna
my
have to
brains and a pretzel.
we're gonna have to go
Put me on
back
another
and
podcast.
listen to this, or maybe have you back on for some more content. But just want to thank you for sharing your story. It was fantastic. Guys, if you are in Louisville, Xavier is at Well at Humana. He works with all types of clients. I promise you will not miss him as soon as you come in the gym. He will be your biggest hype man, and he's just awesome to work with. Also, look for him at events. Usually we put him up on stage. So Xavier, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you all for having me.
See you guys next time.